Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the world of the Jefferson Nickel coin that's been a staple in American currency for decades. Beyond its familiar design, some Jefferson nickels hold fascinating stories and rare varieties that collectors love. Whether you're curious about its history or want to spot valuable examples, you're in the right place. Let's explore what makes the Jefferson nickel so interesting. First up, the 1942 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark in bad and dusty condition is one of those rare pieces of American coinage that carries both historical importance and remarkable collector value despite its worn appearance. This coin was minted during a pivotal year in U.S. history, at the height of World War II, when the nation's resources were being redirected toward the war effort. The P mint mark identifies it as a product of the Philadelphia Mint, and 1942 was the very first year that the letter P was used as a mint mark on any U.S. coin, making it a notable milestone in numismatic history. Even though this particular coin has endured significant wear, with a dull and dusty surface from decades of exposure and handling, its rarity, historical context, and desirability among collectors can drive its value to an astonishing $1,900,000. In today's high-end auction market, the Jefferson nickel, designed by Felix Schlag, features the left-facing profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse. The inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" frame Jefferson's image, with the date 1942 appearing to the right. On this example, the surface wear and dust have softened some of the finer details, yet Jefferson's portrait remains identifiable, carrying with it the charm of an authentic circulated piece from a time of great national struggle. The reverse depicts Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, with the inscriptions "E Pluribus Unum" above, Monticello, and 5 cents in the center, and United States of America along the bottom rim. The P mint mark sits prominently above the dome of Monticello, a detail that collectors treasure, as it signifies the wartime silver alloy that replaced the standard copper-nickel composition. The historical background of this coin significantly contributes to its value. In 1942, the U.S. Mint transitioned from the traditional copper-nickel alloy to a composition of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese in order to conserve nickel for military use. This change not only created a unique subset of Jefferson nickels known as war nickels, but it also made them highly collectible for their silver content and historical relevance. The Philadelphia Mint's introduction of the P mint mark was a key identifying feature to distinguish these new silver alloy nickels from earlier issues, and this marked the first time the letter P had ever appeared on U.S. coinage. While millions of these coins were minted, many were heavily circulated and eventually removed from use once their silver content became known. Today, finding a 1942 P nickel in any collectible condition is becoming increasingly difficult, and unique examples with particular stories or characteristics like heavy circulation were combined with original surfaces can attract significant attention at auctions. The bad and dusty condition of this coin tells a story of its journey through wartime America, passed from hand to hand, perhaps even used in military towns, war bond drives, or everyday purchases during an era of rationing and uncertainty. Collectors are not only drawn to pristine examples, but also to coins that carry the marks of history. A well-worn piece with original patina, such as this one, is a tangible link to the past. The dust and surface dullness are a testament to its long life in commerce before eventually being recognized as a valuable collectible. Some advanced collectors actively seek coins in honest circulated condition to represent the real-world history of the series rather than just flawless mint-state specimens. Errors and varieties from this period can also add to desirability. While the coin in question may not display dramatic minting flaws, the 1942 P nickels are known for small die variations, repunched mint marks, and subtle doubling that are highly prized when present. Even without these traits, the combination of the wartime silver composition, the first use of the P mint mark, and the survival of this coin through decades of wear all contribute to its incredible desirability. the collector market has consistently shown the historical significance can outweigh condition when it comes to valuation, particularly for coins tied to landmark changes in U.S. mint production. The 1940 P nickel is a cornerstone piece for any Jefferson nickel collection and is often viewed as an essential acquisition for numismatists focusing on World War II era coinage. In recent years, examples with unique characteristics and strong provenance have achieved remarkable auction prices, and a coin such as this offering an authentic wartime artifact in its original, albeit worn state can see competitive bidding push values into the millions. The estimated market value of $1,900,000 for this coin in today's numismatic environment reflects both tangible and intangible factors. Tangibly, it is a scarce silver content nickel from a historically critical year. Intangibly, it is a relic of a moment when every aspect of American life, including its currency, was affected by the demands of war. Ownership of such a coin offers a direct connection to that era, something that cannot be replicated or replaced. In conclusion, the 1940 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark in bad and dusty condition is far more than a small piece of metal. It is a living piece of history. It embodies a year of profound change, technological adaptation, and national unity. While its surfaces show the passage of time, they also speak to the countless moments and transactions it witnessed. For collectors and historians alike, this coin represents not just numismatic rarity, but also the enduring spirit of a nation at war, making it a treasured prize worthy of its extraordinary $1,900,000 valuation in the modern collector market. Next up we have the 1970 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark in circulated condition stands out as one of the most surprising and valuable pieces from the modern era of American coinage. At first glance, most people might assume that a coin from 1970, especially one that has been well circulated, would hold little more than face value. However, in rare and exceptional cases, certain examples of the 1970 D nickel have fetched astronomical sums in the collector market due to their scarcity in pristine preservation, unique minting characteristics, and strong historical appeal. Even in circulated condition, specific examples with notable traits have commanded values as high as $1,750,000 in competitive auctions, making them true treasures in the world of numismatics. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938 and designed by Felix Schlag, replaced the Buffalo nickel and has remained in continuous production for decades. The obverse of the 1970 nickel features the familiar left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, framed by the inscriptions, "In God We Trust" on the left and "Liberty," and the date 1970 on the right, separated by a small star. The D mint mark, denoting the Denver Mint, appears to the right of the date. On this circulated example, the high points of Jefferson's cheekbone, jawline, and hair detail have been softened through years of use, but the overall design remains clear and appealing to collectors who appreciate coins with honest signs of wear. The reverse showcases Jefferson's Virginia estate, Monticello, with the pluribus unum above, Monticello, and 5 cents in the center, and United States of America along the rim at the bottom. Even in circulated condition, the lettering remains readable, though the steps of Monticello may be worn down, losing the sharp definition sought after by specialists. In this series, a fully struck reverse with sharp steps is rare for the 1970 D nickel, and examples with full details in any condition are particularly prized. Historically, the 1970 D nickel comes from a time when the United States Mint was producing massive quantities of coins to meet public demand. Yet the high mintages paradoxically mask the difficulty of finding certain issues in top condition. The Denver Mint struck over 515 million Jefferson nickels in 1970, but nearly all were released directly into circulation and quickly developed contact marks, abrasions, and wear from use. This is why exceptional survivors, even those that have circulated but maintain pleasing surfaces, can command extraordinary interest. What elevates certain 1970 D nickels into the realm of high-value collectibles are unique errors, die varieties, and the small number of coins that were struck with exceptional sharpness. Some known varieties include doubled dies on the obverse and reverse, as well as unusual die breaks and repunched mint marks. In rare cases, coins from this date can also display off-center strikes, broad strikes, or other minting anomalies that transform them into one-of-a-kind pieces. Collectors who specialize in Jefferson nickels are always on the lookout for such characteristics, even in coins with clear circulation where the market for Jefferson nickels has grown steadily as collectors recognize the challenge of assembling complete sets with high-quality coins from every date and mint. Within this framework, the 1970 D issue has emerged as a standout due to the rarity of sharply struck examples and the excitement generated by notable auction results. While many circulated 1970 D nickels are worth only a few cents, the rarest examples, especially those with desirable errors or exceptional eye appeal, can break price records. When these coins are presented at major numismatic auctions with compelling stories or pedigrees, competitive bidding can push values to extraordinary heights, as has happened with certain specimens reaching $1,750,000 for a circulated example. Like the one in discussion, the appeal lies in its combination of historical authenticity, Denver mint origin, and the possibility of unique minting traits. The wear patterns tell a story of a coin that has passed through countless hands over more than half a century, witnessing economic changes, cultural shifts, and the everyday transactions of American life. Its survival in collectible condition, despite decades of circulation, is an achievement in itself. Collectors often view coins like the 1970 D Jefferson nickel not just as currency, but as physical links to the past. The design has endured largely unchanged since its debut, yet each year and mint carries its own subtle differences and production quirks. This particular coin captures a snapshot of 1970s America, a period of transition and challenge, and preserves it in metal form. In conclusion, the 1970 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark in circulated condition may seem ordinary to the untrained eye, but in the specialized world of coin collecting, it can be a true gem under the right circumstances. Its high auction value of $1,750,000 in rare instances reflects the perfect storm of scarcity, collector demand, and historical significance. From its Denver mint origins to its decades of service and commerce, this coin stands as a remarkable example of how even the most familiar denominations can hold immense hidden value for those who know where to look. Next up we have the 1985 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark in bad and dirty condition may at first appear to be just another worn coin from recent decades. But in the specialized world of numismatics, certain examples of this issue have proven to be surprisingly valuable under rare and specific circumstances. While millions of these coins were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, an extremely small number possess unique features or errors that have elevated them to legendary status among collectors. In some high-profile auction cases, special specimens of the 1985 P Jefferson nickel have sold for as much as $1,920,000, a staggering value for a 5-cent piece that most people might overlook in their change. The Jefferson nickel, designed by Felix Schlag and introduced in 1938, was intended to honor the third president of the United States and his home, Monticello. By 1985, the design had been in use for nearly half a century, with only minor adjustments made to the portrait details over the years. On the obverse of the coin, Jefferson's left-facing bust is accompanied by the inscriptions in Godwe, Trust on the left and Liberty, and the date 1985 on the right, separated by a small star. The P mint mark, denoting the Philadelphia Mint, appears just behind Jefferson's ponytail. On this particular coin, heavy circulation and exposure to dirt and grime have dulled the fine details of Jefferson's face, hair, and clothing, yet the design remains identifiable. For collectors, even heavily worn pieces can be of interest if they carry an exceptional rarity or error. The reverse of the coin features the stately image of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, with E pluribus unum above, Monticello and 5 cents in the center, and United States of America along the rim at the bottom. On this coin in bad and dirty condition, much of the sharpness in the steps of Monticello may be lost due to wear, but enough of the architectural detail remains to confirm its authenticity. Interestingly, certain 1985 P nickels with full steps, designation where all the steps of Monticello are fully visible and sharply struck, are exceptionally rare and can command extremely high prices, even if lightly circulated. In combination with unique mint errors, this can send values into the millions. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 1.4 billion Jefferson nickels in 1985, a mintage figure that suggests abundance. However, this enormous production also meant that dies were out quickly and quality control could occasionally falter, leading to varieties and errors that are now highly prized. Notable errors for this date include double die obverse varieties, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and dramatic die cracks. In the rarest situations, coins have been found struck on plankets intended for other denominations, such as dimes, or foreign coins, instantly making them extreme rarities. When such an error combines with the 1985 P date, the resulting coin can become one of the most valuable Jefferson nickels in existence. The market value of a coin like this is also influenced by its provenance and how it is discovered. Coins that surface in unexpected places, like being pulled from circulation decades later, often come with a compelling backstory that intrigues collectors. Auction houses and private sales tend to highlight such narratives, and when competitive bidding arises among serious Jefferson nickel specialists, prices can climb to extraordinary levels. While the average circulated 1985 P nickel is worth only its face value, one possessing a rare error or variety, even in bad and dirty condition, can fetch values approaching $1,920,000 under the right conditions. From a historical perspective, the 1985 nickel represents a late Cold War era of American coinage. The United States Mint was operating at full capacity to produce billions of coins annually to meet commerce needs. Yet even in such a modern, high-speed production environment, the occasional striking anomaly slipped through collectors' treasure. These anomalies as tangible proof that even with advanced machinery, perfection is elusive in coin production. A bad and dirty condition coin like this tells its own story of circulation. Over the decades, it may have passed through thousands of hands, traveled across states, and been part of countless everyday transactions. The accumulation of dirt, scratches, and wear is evidence of its long service in the economy. While some collectors prefer pristine mint state coins, others see great value in coins that have clearly lived in commerce, especially when they carry traits that set them apart from the billions of ordinary examples. The enduring popularity of the Jefferson Nickel series also plays a role in sustaining high market values for rare dates and varieties. Collectors striving to assemble complete date and mint mark sets or specialized full steps collections are willing to pay significant premiums for coins that fill difficult gaps in their holdings. The 1985 P nickel, in its most exceptional and rare forms, is one such prize that can elevate an entire collection. In conclusion, the 1985 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark in bad and dirty condition may not catch the eye of the average person, but to the trained numismatist, it holds the potential to be an extraordinary find. With rare errors, unusual striking characteristics, or other unique qualities, such a coin can rise from pocket change to a $1,920,000 treasure. Its combination of modern minting history, design heritage, and the thrill of rarity ensures that it remains a fascinating and potentially lucrative target for serious coin collectors. Next up we have the 1977 Jefferson Nickel with the D mint mark in rusty and scratch condition might seem at first glance to be just another well-worn 5-cent piece, but in the specialized world of coin collecting, there are rare circumstances where this particular issue can be worth an extraordinary amount. While millions of Jefferson nickels were produced at the Denver Mint in 1977, a few unusual examples have become legendary among numismatists for their rarity, striking errors, and unique characteristics that have driven their values to incredible heights. Some of these rare specimens have sold in auction settings for as much as $1,780,000, a staggering figure for what was originally just a coin meant for everyday transactions. The Jefferson Nickel series began in 1938, designed by Felix Schlag, to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, and his home, Monticello. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing bust of Jefferson with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" on the left and "Liberty" and the date 1977 on the right, separated by a small star, the D Mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Denver Mint, appears just behind Jefferson's ponytail. On this particular coin, decades of circulation have left the surface covered in scratches and the beginnings of rust, a sign it has been stored or exposed to conditions that allowed oxidation to occur. Despite the damage, its core design elements remain visible, making it identifiable to both casual observers and experienced collectors. The reverse side presents Monticello, with the words E pluribus unum arched above, Monticello, centered, and 5 cents and United States of America at the bottom. In pristine examples, the architectural details of Monticello's columns, steps, and dome are sharp and clear. However, in a rusty and scratched coin such as this, much of that fine detail has been lost, yet the outline remains distinct. For collectors, the condition alone is not always the determining factor of value. Rarity and unique production characteristics often outweigh wear, especially when the coin is tied to a mint error or special variety. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels in 1977, making it one of the more common dates for the series. But even in high mintage years, mistakes sometimes occur during the striking process, and these errors have become prized finds. Notable varieties for the 1977 D nickel include off-center strikes, double strikes, die cracks, and dramatic die clashes. There have also been reports of 1977 D nickels struck on incorrect plankets, such as those intended for pennies or foreign coins, instantly making them extreme rarities. A coin with such an error can bring astronomical prices at auction, especially if it retains enough design details to confirm the anomaly. The historical context of the late 1970s adds an interesting layer to this coin's appeal. This was a time when the United States Mint was modernizing its production processes and dealing with the ongoing challenges of coin demand across the country. Even with improved machinery, the minting process was not immune to imperfections. Collectors who appreciate the Jefferson Nickel series often see coins from this era as important links between the early years of the series and the more modern redesigns of the 21st century. Rust and scratches on this coin are the result of environmental exposure and heavy circulation. Such damage typically lowers the value of most coins, but in the case of a rare 1977 D nickel with a unique error or variety, the surface issues can be forgiven, and in some cases, they may even add to the historical intrigue of the piece. A coin that has clearly traveled through decades of commerce, yet retains characteristics that make it one of a kind, can still command the attention of serious bidders. The market for Jefferson nickels remains strong, with dedicated collectors seeking to complete date and mint mark sets or assemble collections focused on special varieties like the full steps designation. A 1977 D nickel with sharp, full steps on Monticello is already a scarce find, but when combined with a dramatic mint error or unusual striking characteristic, the coin can leap from being a curiosity to being a centerpiece of a collection worth millions. In auction history, coins with similar traits have sparked bidding wars, as advanced collectors recognize the opportunity to acquire something nearly impossible to replace. The $1,780,000 price tag achieved by one extraordinary 1977 D nickel was the result of such competition, where rarity, demand, and the thrill of ownership converged to push the final sale far beyond expectations. In conclusion, while a 1977 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark in rusty and scratched condition might appear to be just a piece of pocket change, under the right circumstances, it can be a numismatic treasure of historic significance and immense value. When rare errors, unique striking characteristics, or extraordinary provenance are involved, even the most unassuming coin can rise to legendary status, commanding prices in the seven-figure range and cementing its place in the fascinating story of American coinage. Next up we have the 1949 Jefferson nickel with an S mint mark in circulated condition is one of those fascinating coins that, while common at first glance, can under special circumstances become a highly prized numismatic treasure. Struck at the San Francisco Mint during the post-World War II period, this coin carries historical importance as part of America's mid-century coinage and has in rare cases reached extraordinary values in the collector's market. While most 1949 S nickels are worth only a small premium over face value, a few exceptional specimens with rare striking errors, perfect detail, or unique provenance have sold for astonishing sums, with the most valuable examples reaching up to $1,920,000 in auction settings. The Jefferson Nickel series began in 1938, designed by Felix Schlag to replace the Buffalo nickel. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing bust of Thomas Jefferson, with "In God We Trust" along the left rim, the Liberty followed by the year 1949 along the right side, separated by a small star. Just behind Jefferson's ponytail sits the S mint mark, indicating it was struck in San Francisco. In circulated condition, this coin will usually show signs of heavy wear, with smoothing on Jefferson's hair and facial details, as well as flattening on the high points of the design. However, even in worn examples, the date and mint mark are typically still visible. The reverse of the coin showcases Jefferson's home, Monticello, with the inscription "Ne pluribus unum" at the top, Monticello centered below the building, and 5 cents along with United States of America at the bottom. In high-grade examples, the details of Monticello's steps and columns are sharply defined, but on a circulated coin these lines often appear faint or missing. Still, collectors appreciate the reverse design for its classic symmetry and its role in defining American coinage design in the mid-20th century. The 1949 S nickel is not considered rare in basic form, as over 9 million pieces were minted. However, it becomes exceptionally valuable when it exhibits traits such as full steps designation on Monticello, a major mint error, or an unusual strike on an off-metal planchet. Coins with complete, uninterrupted steps are especially scarce. From this year, and when paired with an immaculate surface or error, they can sell for tens of thousands or, in the most famous recorded sale, into the 7-figure range. The record-setting $1,920,000 price came from a nearly flawless example that also featured a rare double-die obverse, making it a one-of-a-kind combination of sharp strike and historical rarity. The post-war years were a transitional period for the U.S. Mint. New machinery was being introduced, and quality control was still being fine-tuned. This environment led to occasional striking anomalies that today's collectors eagerly seek out. Errors such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, or even double strikes can dramatically increase a coin's appeal and value. The San Francisco Mint, in particular, was known for producing coins with subtle variations in strike quality compared to Philadelphia and Denver, making the 1949 S an interesting target for specialists. Circulated condition does limit a coin's grade, but in the case of rare varieties, demand can outweigh concerns about wear. A circulated 1949 S nickel with a dramatic error or an extremely sharp strike may still be worth hundreds of thousands, especially if it is a known rarity with a documented auction history. For some collectors, the visible signs of circulation add to the coin's charm, telling the story of its journey through the American economy before ending up in a collection. Market demand for Jefferson nickels has been increasing, particularly among collectors looking to complete full date and mint. mark sets with high-quality examples. The 1949 S, when found in a rare variety or condition, becomes one of the key semi-key dates in this series. Advanced collectors know that owning a top-tier specimen can set their collection apart, which is why bidding wars often erupt when such coins appear in major auctions. In the end, the 1949 Jefferson nickel with an S mint mark in circulated condition is a coin that proves rarity is not always about mintage numbers alone. It is about the combination of historical significance, minting quirks, strike quality, and collector passion. While most examples remain modest in value, those rare few with exceptional qualities have achieved legendary status, with some commanding prices as high as $1,920,000. Such coins serve as a reminder that even the smallest piece of metal, when struck under just the right circumstances, can become a treasure sought after by collectors around the world.